Welcome back to my workshop. Now it's November, so this is why I'm starting to grow a moustache, because obviously it's Movember. So let's see how that gets on. Right, before I start, I'd like to say hello to all my new subscribers. Oh, thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. It helps a lot. Right, this week's project, what I've got to do is make a wedding ring box. So basically a box that's going to contain the wedding rings for a very special wedding that's happening at the beginning of next year. Now, I've got some ideas which I stole off the internet, but basically none of those are quite right. So what I want to do is design something and then make it. So let's try and do that. So this is the design software I'm using, a pen and some paper. Now what I want to do is obviously make a box, but it has to be heart shaped. So it's going to be a sort of a heart shape. Yeah, like this, maybe. What we want is some initials here. One of them and one of these, maybe. We'll leave a little end in the middle. And what I want to do is I want to cut out a little heart shape here, which will go all the way through. Okay, that's the top designed. Now what we want is the box shape. So it's going to be like a heart shape. This is a heart, by the way, if you didn't realise. Okay, but it's going to be a lid. Okay, so this top bit here lifts up. And then in the heart shape bit that I'm cutting out in the middle, what I want is a couple of little rings set in resin. Okay, and inside the box, what we're going to have is the heart shape. And then there's going to be a cut out all the way around like this, and a circle here and a circle here, so the ring can sit over that. So this is my entire design. Let's use that. So the material I'm going to use for this is going to be a lump of this. Okay, this is a piece of old door frame. There's not much of it left. It is hardwood, but it's made of two pieces by the looks of it. But I'm going to see if I can use this for my box. So let's cut this into pieces. Right, so it looks like we've fallen at the very first hurdle. Right, this is my piece of wood. I've cut it into about 18mm thick, but the problem is it's got a crack all the way through it. Okay, so it cracks all the way down this side and down this side. So basically that's not going to be any good. Also, I run it through the thicknesser and I've ended up with this, which is called snipe. And basically I've ended up with a divot out of it, so that's taking it down too thin. Basically what that is where it goes through the thicknesser and then it gets stuck and it tips and it ends up just basically planing off a big section in the middle. So these bits, that's no good. Let's find some more. Here's a piece. Let's do it all again. Right, so for my new piece of wood, I've cut it lengthwise, so I've now got a 20mm thick piece. I've now cut this into sections like this. I put it through the planer. That gives me an extra 2 bits. This bit has got a little bit of snipe on it, so I'm going to use that. That's an offcut, I won't use that. So these are going to be my 2 pieces. There's a little bit of yuckiness on there, but because it's going to be a heart, I can cut that bit out. Okay, so that's probably going to be the bottom. This bit's probably going to be the top. Okay, So we're now over at the CNC machine. This is my original design. What I've done is I've used Vectric Aspire and come up with this quick design. Okay, so just the two letters here, J and a B. We'll just concentrate on those two for now. So I've selected those two, and if I go to a 3D view, that's what they're going to look like. Okay, so what I need to do now is change the bit that's in my CNC machine to a 90-degree V bit. Okay, and then mount the piece of wood here. All right, let's get on with that. Okay, so that's the letters done quickly. Now I've got to change the bit for a 3mm end mill. Okay, which means I've got to change the collet as well. So I'll get on with that and then start cutting out the little heart in the middle. Okay. Right, so now we've got our main bit of CNC machining done. What I want to concentrate on now is this bit here. I want to put two little tiny rings inside. Now I want to make those out of metal. So here's our top, here's our bottom. Get back to that later. So with our top, what I want to do is have a couple of little rings here. What I'm going to use is a piece of copper tube. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll show you how I do that now. Alright, first thing to do is I want to cut a couple of little rings out of this. So what I'm going to do is use my pipe cutter. I don't want them too thick. Let's have a look. And just cut. Oh look, a ring. Now just use water. Okay, that's the first ring. And the second ring. Alright, so I have my two little rings. Now what I want to do is have these interlocking, but first of all what I'm going to do is clean these up a little bit with a little bit of not that paper, a little bit of wet and dry, just to get the burrs off of them. Okay, right, I want to get these polished up a little bit before I go too much further. So I'm going to use some T-cut, just a little bit of rag. Probably easier to put this on something, so let's put them on this conveniently sized Sharpie. Now I want to give them a bit of a buff, so what I'm going to use is my Work Zone Pretend Dremel. So I've just got these Pretend Dremel mounted in this little vise here. Hot. Ah, melted my pen. Okay, two shining little rings. Now I want to interlock these, so I'm going to cut one of them and slide it over the other. Let's change this for a cutting bit. Okay, so I've now changed this for a small cutting disc, and I've got one of my rings mounted in a pair of mole grips because obviously it's going to get a little bit warm cutting it. Okay, take that out of there. Now I want this to fit in here, like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly solder that together. Okay, so now I want to solder, probably want to solder on the inside on here so it doesn't notice so much. But obviously this ring is in the way, so if I just stick something in there to get out of the way, then I can then see inside to solder. Good, right, here we go. Let's try and do this. Right, so first of all, it's the world's best soldering iron, like it's all bent and broken. Right, I can see. Hot, hot, hot. Okay, right, so we've got a little bit of solder in now. Let's give that a bit of a clean up. It's come through the other side. So let's dress that up. Okay, so I've just quickly touched that on the grindstone. Hopefully you won't be able to see this when it's mounted in the resin. So here's my two rings interlocking like that, which is exactly what I wanted. And now they're going to go inside here somehow like this. Okay, with resin over the top. That's the plan. Right, I suppose I should mix up some resin.